Yang's sweeps. Man, they're annoying. Yang has three kinds of sweeps he can throw out. I'm calling them full screen, 50-50, and random. The first kind, the full screen sweep in phase 1, is easy to avoid because it's easy to just never trigger it. He only does this sweep from a long distance. If you stay at mid-range, blocking his attack strings and punishing, playing conservatively, you'll never give him a chance to sweep. If the fight starts getting out of your control, he may do a backdash and there's a high probability that he'll charge in and sweep. So you can just be ready for that, hop and punish. This is commonly triggered by you being overly aggressive. If you're in his face and whiffing attacks and getting parried, I've noticed that he really likes to backdash into a sweep after returning that aggression. If you keep him under control at mid-range and play defensively, you'll never see that sweep. Phase 2, however, is a very different story. The most dangerous sweep here is the 50-50. Yang starts with a glowing punch and then dashes to the side where he does a second punch into the 50-50. It's a sweep or it's a roundhouse. It can be very hard to react to it because they come out at similar speeds and they're both spinning attacks. I do not recommend taking your chances with this sweep unless you're feeling really confident in your reaction time. It may just be better to block it and take the chip damage. Everyone has different abilities when it comes to reacting. You're gonna have to make the decision for yourself. Or you can guess. If you guess right, you'll get a small punish, guess wrong, and eat that damage. There is a really good way to always avoid the 50-50 and get a punish here, but first we gotta talk about the last kind of sweep, and we'll come back to this. So, the random sweep. In phase 2, not only do you have to deal with a lot more of Yang's nonsense, but you're taking a lot more damage just in chip. If you just block every string and try to avoid and punish the final hit, you're gonna be losing health constantly, and you'll probably die. So what'll happen is you'll start trying to avoid more of his attacks, and then you realize you're just getting hit with sweeps all over the place. What's going on? Are these sweeps random? They are not random. They are actually entirely predictable. Phase 2 Yang is programmed to sweep after avoiding 2 attacks in a row. Let's examine his attack strings and find the patterns. Yang loves to come in with that kick into a punch. After the punch, he'll either do a double elbow, which you can punish, or he'll do a single elbow into a backdash, and then his charge forward attack, which you avoid by ducking 3 times, into a punish. If you block the first kick and then avoid the punch and avoid the double elbow, if you wait, he'll sweep. This is because you avoided 2 attacks in a row. The punch and the double elbow, which counts as 1 attack. If you block the first kick and then avoid the punch and avoid the single elbow, he sweeps immediately. So, strings that start with kick, if you avoid the next 2 attacks after blocking the kick, he'll sweep. If you anticipate the attack string and avoid the starting kick and the follow-up punch, he'll go right into the sweep. Again, you avoided 2 attacks in a row, triggering the sweep. His other main attack strings start with a glowing punch, which can either go into a second punch and then a triple claw attack, or it can go into the dash 50-50 that we talked about earlier. If you avoid the first glowing punch and then the follow-up punch, he'll sweep because of the rule of 2. If you block the first glowing punch, avoid the second punch, and avoid the triple claw, he'll sweep. If you avoid the first glowing punch and then he dashes for the 50-50, you can avoid the second punch and he'll sweep. This completely shuts down the 50-50. He will never do the roundhouse if you avoid both starting attacks. Even in the 50-50, if you block the first punch, but then avoid the second punch and avoid the roundhouse, it will trigger the sweep because you avoided 2 attacks. Hilariously, it happens with the 50-50 sweep as well. That's right, if you avoid the second punch and then avoid the 50-50 sweep, he will sweep again. An important note to make is that if you dash away from attacks, or he just whiffs an attack, it counts. So if you're running away as he's attacking, you'll be triggering sweeps because he misses twice. This is what really makes his sweeps seem random, but they are not. And there you have it, that's how to shut down Yang's sweeps. To recap, the full screen sweep will never happen if you keep phase 1 Yang at mid-screen. If he's far away or dashes backwards, be ready for the sweep and hop it. Avoiding 2 attacks in a row in phase 2 will trigger a sweep, and using this method also shuts down his 50-50 because it will always be a sweep instead of a mix-up. Thanks for watching, I hope this is helpful.